Ensure you have all the appropriate equipment for the install. The following are some recommended tools for an efficient installation. First, align the jigs so the bottom of it is aligned up with the bottom of the first row of panels. Set up a laser level to a datum line that can be referenced when fastening. Once the jigs are aligned and level, temporarily fasten the jigs to the subgirt. Once the jigs are fastened, feed the rails through the jig openings at the predetermined project spacing. When rails are in place, pre-drill holes into the subgirts at required project spacing. Fasten the rails into the subgirts through the pre-drilled holes. When the first set of rails are fastened, remove the jigs and set them up further up the wall. This can be used as a guide to set up the next row of rails. Repeat this process until all the rails are set up. If there is an inside corner, always start the installation from the inside outwards. Otherwise, it is recommended to install from left to right. Hook the panels onto the rail to align the top of the panel with the bottom lip of the rail that the panel is attached to. Use shims to achieve the appropriate panel spacing along both the horizontal and vertical joints. When shimming the horizontal joint, it is necessary to ensure there is a 5 mm gap between the bottom of the hook and the rail to allow for thermal movement. When aligned, clamp the panels in place and fasten the panels to the rail using the pre-punched holes along the top flange as a guide. Repeat this process along the wall, ensuring that all panels are appropriately shimmed and fastened correctly to the rail. During the installation of the panels, it is necessary to install a cover plate at any intersecting panel joints throughout the elevation. These plates are simply fastened with a self-drilling pancake head fastener. When you get to an outside corner or end detail, you must prepare the female extrusions by creating a 3-inch notch on the receiver leg wherever there is a horizontal joint in the panel, to allow the female extrusion to continuously run through the wall. After marking the intended location to notch for either your outside corner or the termination extrusion, clamp the marked extrusion onto a workbench and cut the notch out of the extrusion using a grinder or other cutting tool. Ensure appropriate PPE is worn when completing this process. Once the extrusions are notched, clamp the extrusion onto the end of the rails and fasten using a self-drilling fastener into the deep return of the extrusion. This process will be similar with both a corner extrusion and a termination extrusion. Make a measurement from the closest panel to the corner of the termination extrusion and mark out the cut required onto the next panel, so the panel aligns with the end of the wall. Cut the panels to the marked length using the appropriate cutting tools and PPE to safely cut the panels. Hook the cut panels onto the rail and clamp the cut side of the panel onto the extrusion. Ensure the panels are shimmed correctly along the horizontal and vertical joints. Once the panel is in place, fasten the cut end of the panel into the leg of the extrusion and fasten along the top flange of the panel in the pre-punched holes. Finally, snap on the appropriate extrusion caps at the termination and outside corner location using a rubber mallet as needed.